just planning 24, thinking, how can I improve my work environment to make it a more enjoyable and productive place to be in 24? Awesome. I'm an experienced agile coach and I will share 12 strategies in 3 categories how you can make your team happier and more productive. So let's get started. So in the first category, we want to set up your team to make it a successful journey. And the first thing is to create a psychological safe environment for your team. So we want to build trust and create an environment where people feel safe. Because the definition of psychological safety is a belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. So we want to have stable teams where there is trust and where there's team values, which includes the important things which make team members feel safe in their work environment. Second, we want to have equal voice because we know from Google's Aristoteles research project that equal voice is one of the 2 superpowers high-performance teams have. And you can create an environment where equal voice is possible if you have a facilitator who helps you to create this balance between people, or you can use simple tools like planning poker cards or t-shirt size poker cards to create an environment where equal voice is possible. The third strategy is to prioritize your work. Did you know that 75% of your work should not be done because it's either against the strategy of your company or you're building something customers rarely or are not using. So stick to the 25% and see how can you maximize the outcome for your organization. So we want to have happy stakeholders. And for this, it helps really to have a backlog so you can prioritize your work, you create transparency so everyone in the team is aligned and knows what to focus on next. And fourth, introduce a concept called yesterday's weather, where you know what was the capacity of our team, for example, the last 5 weeks. So you make it easier to create stakeholder management expectations. I was working for a company and one of the neighboring teams, they had a capacity of 25 stories for 2 weeks. And now management was pressuring them into delivering 100 tasks. And just imagine what was the outcome. And actually, after 2 weeks' time, they finished 0 because there was so much fear to not finish everything. So they started with everything and at the end, they didn't finish anything. So yesterday's weather really helps to communicate with your stakeholders and make them aware that your capacity in your team is also limited. The second category is focusing on how to handle the most common problems your team will face in a work week. And here, number 1 is swarming. So just imagine a Formula 1 pit stop. And here, everyone in the team is working on getting the driver as quick as possible out on the track again. So as a team, we want to reduce our work in progress so we can finish and deliver value as quick as possible. And then we focus on the next task or next small project at hand. And the next strategy is to have an interrupt buffer for unplanned work, because then it's easier to handle those unplanned work, because there's 3 options you can do. You can say, no, we are not going to do this. You can say, yes, we are going to do this work as well, but not now, but later. And third, you can say, wow, this is really immediately, we have to do it and we are planning it in our work week, because you have this kind of buffer introduced. The next strategy is called good housekeeping, and it's coming from the lean management. And there's a rule saying every time you touch a product, you improve the quality. And this could be either writing automated tests or improving your checklist, having templates, having standing operating procedures. So every time you touch the product, the quality improves. The 8th strategy is called have an emergency procedure. Have you been on an airplane probably most of you have. And what are you hoping that the pilot has? A checklist if an emergency occurs, because then you don't have time to react, to think, now the aircraft is crashing, what should I do? No, they have a checklist, and this is something you should have for your team as well. And in the description, I will share an example of an emergency procedure you can immediately use. Okay, and now the third category are strategies that are helping your teams to get from good to great. The first strategy is to introduce a retrospective, because we want to continuously improve, and a retrospective helps us doing this by continuously thinking together with the team, how can we improve our work together? And there's 5 steps to a very good retrospective, and I've done a video about this and I will share it in the video description as well. The next strategy is called finish early to accelerate faster. And it's a little bit counterintuitive, but I've seen it with all the teams I'm coaching, that if they pick a little bit less than their capacity is, they will improve over the long run massively. And I believe it's about the confidence in the team, because they know, we are capable of finishing something which we wanted to finish. And it also creates a much better mood in the team, because they know, we finished earlier, and then they pick the highest prioritized items from the backlog. And probably it's also about the flow, because fear is taking out that you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm probably not going to finish it. Like the example I told you, a capacity of 25, management pressuring them to finish 100, and then at the end they finished 0. And the next strategy, introduce a happiness index, because we know that happy teams make better stuff faster. And the good thing about the happiness index is that it's also a leading indicator. So when the happiness index in the team goes down, we still got some time before also the productivity goes down. And that's a really cool way for a coach or a team leader to intervene and turn things around to make the environment a place where people feel safe and also happy. So please introduce also the happiness index. The 12th strategy is improve social connection, because we know that when we have good social connection, then we have happier teams, and when teams are happier, then they are also more productive. And a great way to do this is a simple exercise called the 2-minute appreciation. And you're just using the kudos box, and you write kudos to your colleagues every day for just 2 minutes. So you pick one kudos card, you write a kudos to one colleague, and you hand it over to that person like a flower bouquet. And this is a really powerful tool to improve social connection in your team. And we know that this also helps with the engagement and the happiness in the team, and then also the productivity. And now I have one bonus strategy, and he's sitting already in the back, and it's Elmo. So please introduce Elmo in your meetings, and Elmo stands for enough, let's move on, to keep your meetings short and focused. So please try out those patterns and leave a comment below how it worked out for you and your team, because the goal is to make this world a better place to work and live. And I believe those strategies will massively help you and your team to achieve this. And if you like this video, please also check out my other video where I talk about the 7 attributes which makes teams high performance teams. And now I wish you an enjoyable and productive time and an awesome 2024.